a unilateral event, as the Euro Trophy will start its season on the last weekend of May at Adria in Italy. But now we turn our attention to effectively the smallest grid, but hopefully one that I think will be filled with promise. The reason being is that we introduced OK and OK Junior for the very first time in 2019 at the request of the ASN, the local racing body, which just happens to be the RACB, and we now have OK and OK Junior. They're running on the Apex Vega tyres, which is a normal tyre that's used in international competition through this particular category. So we have Gilles Stadbader and Mads Ries on the front row. Alongside them will be Castro from Belgium and Maxime from Luxembourg. I'm trying to remember his last name, but I'm having to work with multiple different computers in front of me, multiple different screens, so if you just bear with me a second. But we have, it looks to be, so we have Gilles Stadbader on the front row alongside Mads Ries. Gedjan Aris didn't make any sort of efforts in qualifying, wasn't actually in qualifying. It was Maxime Ferrand-Castellet from Luxembourg that will be alongside Gilles Castro. We've got Jan Sutens in the 143. So we have, well, it looks like we could have yes, we have a 6-kart grid. So 3 OK Juniors, 3 OK drivers. Now this is my first experience. I've had KZ last year for the last round of the BNL karting series. I now get to experience OK and OK Junior for the first time in my commentary career. I'm really excited. I've seen a lot of OK racing across the world in various different competitions and various different championships. But this is the first time we're going to have OK and OK Junior here in the BNL karting series, thanks to the kickoff. Red lights on the starting gantry. 6 competitors ready to get underway here for OK and OK Junior final number 1. 10 minutes plus an additional lap. Do we go from red to green? Yes, we do. And we go into turn 1 for the very first time. Stadbader gets very defensive. Castro is also on the defensive from Ferrand-Castellet from Belgium, who's trying to go up the inside of the young Belgian going into turn 4. But the Luxembourger could not make it stick on that particular occasion. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it's just a little bit of a canter away from Gilles Stadbader from Belgium, ahead of the young Dane hotshot, who I think is definitely going to go places in years to come. That's Mads Ries on the 299, a number that he ran in the Rotax Max Euro Trophy last season, en route to, I think if memory serves me correctly, he ended up 3rd in the overall standings behind James Wharton, who's now running in Italy, and Mike van Vugt, who is still staying in Junior Max. So at the moment, it's Stadbader from Mads Ries. Oh, that was close. Gilles Castro had to quickly fend off Ferrand-Castellet from Luxembourg for 3rd position overall. Gert van Eyss has got past Jan Sutens. No real surprise, so he's now got to get past these two and then try and get towards the 2 up front who are just pulling away. So the gap between Mads Ries and Gilles Castro now is... that's over 2.2 seconds by my reckoning. So the 2 leaders, so Stadbader and Ries, are now going through towards turn 9 as the rest of the field are now coming through the first part of turn number 8, where they are pulling over 1.5 times the force of gravity, turning right. As, oh, the Luxembourger goes up the inside of the Belgian, and here comes, here comes Jan Sutens. Well, Jan Sutens, I think, has got in the mix on that one. So that was nearly 2 abreast. Could have been 3. As Gilles Castro now drops to the back of the field as a result of that clash with Ferrand-Castellet from Luxembourg. That was very, very close indeed. But Gilles Castro is like saying to Aris in the 232, what are you doing? I do want to race, but I'm not going to let you pass. Well, hang on, Jules, you've got the other 2 in front of you to worry about, let alone the one behind, who's in the OK category. For those watching at home, for those listening on Downforce Radio, for BNL 2019, if it's OK, it's a number 2 at the beginning of the race number, and if it's a number 1, it's OK Junior. So at the moment, the gap between Gilles Stadsbader from Belgium in the 2:28 and Mads Lies on the 2:99 from Denmark, it was 8.5 tenths. It's now 1.2 seconds. But I have to say, Mads is actually pretty good when it comes to consistency. He is a proven race winner, as Jules Castro quite literally has to... You know what? This is great, where you see intermixed categories, and he's giving his own to Gert van Aris in the 2:32. That was absolutely brilliant. Aris just decided, oh no, I might have lost it here, and Jules gone, yep, I'm going to take that, thank you. But he hasn't got away yet, says the young Belgian in the 1:06. I have to admit. As it looks like Soutens, Jarno Soutens, I think, is not going to be taking any further part. Can't see from my commentary position, because the last time around Soutens was on a 1:10, and that was that's over 16 seconds off of Maxime Furon-Castellet, who's leading the OK Junior class at the moment. Well, it's actually showing that Soutens is now actually... well, I don't know what's happened there. There's probably been an issue with the software there, or maybe an issue with the transponder, because it went to 1:10 for the last lap, and then it's just put on there a 39.1. And with the fact that Gilles Stadsbader and Mads Lies are lapping around in the 52.9s, that's quite impossible. But in terms of the... we're coming towards half race distance here. So for those wanting to vest your entries in, I'll give you a quick update. Luckily enough, on my phone, if you are part of, if you are a Rotax racer, or you do want to enter into the BNL karting series, you can go to the Rotax Racing app, available on your Android or iOS platforms, completely free of charge. And you can go to select your championship and click on the 2019 BNL Karting Series. And just going to have a look at the entry list for this season. Obviously, we've got the first round of the championship this time next month. And already, we have 61 entries so far. Quite a lot of juniors, micros, minis. Now, there's one guy that I mentioned earlier on, who is actually going to be very, very, very brave indeed. He's putting in the race seat time. He's recently been confirmed to work with the Ralf Schumacher guys, and that young man just happened to be the guy that was second in last year's FIA Academy Trophy, Belgium's very own Kobe Pauls, who is entered in... Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, Dave Ritson. He's racing in OK, and he's also racing in Senior Max for BNL 2019. So he also, well, he made his debut in Senior Max at the BNL Golden Trophy, finished 6th overall, if memory serves me correct. Very credible young driver. Recently profiled on motorsportdays.com's Pro-Am Annual, which some of the drivers received this weekend, which included Mathilde Olsson, Hannes Morin, who's going to be racing this year in karting, but according to Matilda, he's going to be racing in Porsches this year as well, so probably Scandinavia, I would imagine. So good luck to him. Hopefully we'll see him on my travels at some point this year. Hannes, get your backside into Rotax again, please. So we have 61 entries for the first round of the championship, total. For Marienburg, round 2, 44, and climbing. We are going to have some KZ2s. Oh, good to see Senna van Valsten's going to be coming back as well. Leroy Jägersar and Lars Lardenoich. So that's good. Yeah, we're going to have some really good competitors, some very credible competitors. Of course, good to see that Joe Turney is going to be back on the entry list. He's also with Corby and Clayton at Paul Ricard at the moment. They're in the cars at the moment as we speak. I've been keeping my eyes on Twitter and Facebook. And don't forget, we are on Facebook on the BNL Karting Series. You can also go to bnlkartingseries.com for our official website with links to live stream, timing, and also any developments as well. So 46 for the final round of the championship. So yeah, looking forward to seeing some great action throughout the 2019 racing season. Let's get back to what's been going on track. Gilles Stadsbader has now extended his gap over Mads Lies to just over 2 seconds. with Gert-Jan Aris now still still down in 6th, behind Jules Castro. So they are still pretty much with each other at the moment. And behind, in front of them is the 143 of Jarno Sutens, with Maxime Furon-Castellai from Luxembourg in the 136, leading the OK Junior classification, as we're into our last last 2 minutes, plus an additional lap here. This will conclude the first stage of finals here. So this is just the warm-up. This is the appetizer for what's going to be the main course, and of course the dessert is the podium. Strange how I use different vernaculars to get my point across for those listening and watching at home. Thank you very much for bearing with me all day. So there's Mads Ries coming into shot on the live stream, wearing his nation's colours, the red and white of Denmark. Currently second overall in this first final out of 6. First final out of 2. The next one will be, they'll be the last finals. They'll have the last final at 5 to 4 this afternoon, barring any stoppages or any delays for any reason. The gap now between Gilles Stadsbader now goes up to 2.5 seconds almost on that last tour. Jules Castro still sitting in 5th overall, 3rd in the classification for OK Junior, as Gert-Jan Aris finally gets past, going through into turn 2, and then Castro's still wanting to have a go at him, coming out of turn 3 into turn 4. And now Gert now has probably said to him, it's mine now, you got to let me get past, come on, give me a chance, Jules. But Jules is still keeping with him, 22 seconds on the clock. As Gilles Stadsbader now crosses the line with about 12 on the clock to go. Jules Castro again is with Aris at the back of the field. They're still having a great little battle. This is really nice to see. And Gert is on the one of the news. Oh, that was brave, Jules. Nice pass there. I've seen this guy in Junior Max, and when he throws it up the inside, he can go for it. And he's just shown that right there. Now we're on to the final lap. This is the last lap of the first stage of finals here at the BNL Karting Series kickoff. And Gert-Jan goes past again through turn 2. Jules bumps the curbs coming out of turn 3. A little bit squirrely coming through turn number 4. This is a great little battle at the back of the field. Meanwhile, it looks like our leaders are about to get the final lap board, which they do now. So Gilles Stadsbader now takes the final lap board, as Gert-Jan Aris and Jules Castro still battling over what is effectively 5th overall in this final. And I have to say, Jules is doing he's doing a credible job as the GKS Lemons Power driver. And he's got past him just then. What a move. That's through turn 10. He did that last time as well, but is it going to be a case that he's going to speak too soon? Well, he goes to the inside line. Gert-Jan Aris goes round the outside. Jules Castro takes the inside line going into turn 2. Goes on the defensive ultra early for turn 3. But Gilles Stadsbader and Mads Ries now come towards the final couple of corners. And Gilles Stadsbader takes the checkered flag to win OK and OK Junior final number 1, ahead of Mads Ries from Denmark. And a little bit of a wait, I must admit, because we'll have very shortly Maxime Furon-Castellai and Jarno Sutens. And then, of course, last but by no means least, a great battle at the back was Jules Castro and Gert-Jan Aris, who's with the Flandria kart racing team. So Maxime Furon-Castellai from Luxembourg takes 3rd overall, but wins in OK Junior, ahead of Jarno Sutens. And last but by no means least, Jules Castro and Gert-Jan Aris round out the 6 strong that have just completed the first ever final in a BNL Karting Series event here at the Home of Champions. So when it was all said and done, Gilles Stadsbader from Belgium takes the win in the 2.28 for the OK and the OK Junior final, ahead of Mads Ries from Denmark in the 2.99. Maxime Fouron-Castellet from Luxembourg in the 136 wins the OK Junior classification ahead of Jan Sutens, also on the Flandria Kart UK team, with Jules Castro from GKS Lemons Power fending off to the dying seconds Gert-Jan Aris, also from Flandria. And that concludes the first stage of the finals here at the BNL Karting Series kickoff at Karting Genk, home of champions.